like some new age kind of Captain Kangaroo show. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
You're very, very welcome. I had all my little note cards and things planned out, and now that you're here, I'm like, fuck it, let's just talk.
No, I have my notes.
Okay. let's let you talk for a little bit. So I first want to give a little bit of history about how this interview came to be, because I've heard a lot about you. I mean, I moved here officially 8 months ago, and I have an apartment in New York, so I jump back and forth, and I do a lot of work in LA as well. I'm trying to get a bunch of relationship and sex education television shows made now, so I'm spending a fair amount of time in LA, which is a whole other thing, trying to do the Hollywood shuffle on that. But when I first heard about you, I think from Roy Turpin, and then Celeste Hirschman, and it was always like, Joseph Kramer, Joseph Kramer, Joseph Kramer. It's like whispers and dark hallways and people talking a lot about you. And then I was doing a discussion panel series here on the history of play parties and group sex in San Francisco, and so I got your number from Roy and called you up and left a voicemail, and I was like, left a voicemail for Joseph Kramer. And like 2 days later, I got a message on my answering machine from you, respectfully declining that you were a no, for thanking me for the invitation, and then like 2 or 3 minutes of you like basically telling me why discussion panels were like Satan's evilest thing ever. In which case I was like, I totally have to interview this guy sometime, because this is the most interesting thing I've ever heard. And then, you've been on my radar, and eventually, some of your internet projects came my way, and then I thought the best way for me to do what I do and promote or help build awareness around your projects was to actually sit you down for a minute, which I never thought you were going to say yes to. So I was actually really excited that you said yes, so thank you. Do you want to share a little bit about what's up for you right now, or I can talk because I did my research. I have notes on you. Or how do you want to do this, Joseph?
Second, right behind panels, I think two people talking in front of a group is like second worst thing that I can imagine. It is. And so I told Reid, okay, we will do video, because then people don't have to ever come out of their house, cross the bridge, sit in chairs. They can watch it on YouTube. And he goes, okay. And then a little later, we need a live audience. Okay, I thought it is living room. There'd be two people sitting there. So I said, okay. All of a sudden, we've come around. You're out here, sitting here. And this is the exact idea that we're videotaping this so you don't have to.
Yeah.
That is exactly the premise. And
the paradox.
I don't want to be here.
The paradox, I get an email from Joseph that basically says, he goes, the paradox is not lost on me that we are inviting people to show up for a conversation that they don't have to show up for because we're taping it and we're going to put it on YouTube. And he goes, and that's funny.
I didn't say funny, I don't think. Tragic. Go ahead.
Well, no, and you did say, you said the further paradox was taping makes showing up unnecessary.
Yes.
Where do you, so this is, my joke is, of course, that, the song Video Killed the Radio Star, and you being kind of the father of somatic sexological bodywork, now with a whole school online, where people can opt in or opt out accordingly and fast forward around erotic education. How do you justify if the fact that your whole career has been built on getting people together to learn about how we learn about sex, and to deepen their and expand their understanding of erotic learning, that we're now putting it online. Because by that very essence, I can watch it and never have to show up for a group ever. Which seems like a huge departure from what you built your career on. or your life's work, so it seems. Like, where did the digital thing come in?
Such a good question. There is so much sex education available. We live in San Francisco, most of us are Oakland, where there's huge amounts of people who are very vibrant and love to get together. There's information, there's facilitators, there's very creative people who've started things like cuddle parties and, you know, songs on the asshole, you know, and all kinds. I mean, I see. So this is an amazing place. I am a little bit embarrassed about the first 20 years of my teaching because I didn't know, I wasn't paying attention to how people live, how people, learn. And I think there's a difference between entertainment and learning, or getting information and really learning. And sex learning. So tonight you're not learning anything about sex. This is entertainment or information. You might do something with it, but I would like to be a sex educator. And I think that means for me now that I assist people who have something that they are doing. I want to assist their process, their learning, whatever. Mm-hmm. Whether it's bringing people together. If this were my idea, we'd all take off our clothes, move everything aside, breathe, play, have a cuddle party, whatever. Something might happen then. But there's a lot of information giving. So the question is, I have a website that has 300 units about how to learn erotic touch and fucking and breathing.
And
what is that all about?
The New School for Erotic Touch, and it's .com, right?
So I feel it's my job as a sex researcher, but sex educator, to provide resources for people in their process. And what we know about somatic education is the best learning does not take place in somebody's class on a weekend or in Maui. It takes place in our own environments with people who we love or we invite on our own time.